all got started, I think, with Mike Rudy pick and roll, and then Nikhil Rudy pick and roll, just making the right play and putting a lot of pressure on him. One time it was, the downhill, one time it was the roller, one time it was the kick out. They just really made the right play every time. And the defense was strong too. We finally found a defensive rhythm.
What were you kind of witnessing through the first three quarters? It just seemed like you couldn't get your handle on,
yeah,
on the game.
It's another game we started, and I think I look up and they're shooting 70+% to start the game. Not atypical on back-to-back sometimes. They were running their stuff really hard. Obviously, Jackson was a handful tonight. We just kept losing the shooters at the inappropriate time. And it was one of those games where, they were making a lot of shots, making some easy ones and making some of the tough ones too. There weren't enough that we challenged and made hard enough. But it felt to me like as long as we just keep it close, we could find a run. It just kind of felt like one of those games, and that's what ended up happening. So.
Mike's assist numbers are kind of soaring of late. Is that a product of him just being put in more playmaking type positions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Once we finally find something that's working, you try to go to it. In the third, we needed to get Anthony in the game, so it was a lot of Anthony. But, obviously always like the ball in Mike's hands coming down the stretch too. So some games that's more of the thing to do. Some games it's somewhere else. So.
What's the value of having a really good offensive player like that who you never have to get going?
Yeah, it's tremendous. He also made a couple big shots off the ball too when he's ready to knock down open threes whenever Cat or Ant or those guys are able to create some distortion. This is not unusual. Mike's been doing this his entire career. His clutch numbers have always been huge. They called him Captain Clutch when he was in Memphis for a reason. He's outstanding, and he's not the type of guy he's a point guard. He feels the game so well. He knows when to step up, and I don't ever really have to get him going. To your point, so
Nas was huge tonight.
Yeah,
and just kind of consistently providing you that offensive spark off the bench. What does that bring in for you guys?
It came at the right time. The first part of that first quarter, just everything was a little bit flat. We'd started with 4 turnovers, I think, in the first 6 or 7 possessions, and then Nas coming in, hit a couple threes, and then energy picks up, and he brings so much energy to the building. Crowd loves him. He responds to it. We respond to them, and defensively we were able to convert a lot of stuff off of our defense too to close the quarter down. So
Rudy's ability to sustain his focus regardless of the caliber of the competition almost seems like an outlier sometimes for you guys. How important is it?
Yeah, he's like a heavyweight boxer. You're going to take your punches. And you just got to be mentally tough against great players. You got to win enough of them when they matter. And he's got that knack, really does. And then to be able to play Jackson and then fight him and then at the last moment shift over to be there on the help and alter that shot too. It's special talent. It really is a special talent.
And self-lob off the glass to himself. Is that one of those moments where it just makes you go, oh, my gosh, this guy's special?
Yeah, for sure. You could kind of see it coming. I didn't think he would do it. I thought he was going to try to draw the foul. But I've seen him do it in practice, once or twice. But, yeah, it's unbelievable play. And he just has that, he's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid to try anything, so.
Mike has the reputation of being one of the nicest guys in the NBA, but he'll tell us that there's a real competitor in there as well. But what have you learned about him, Mike Conley, kind of the competitor, since you've had him here last year?
Yeah, he wants to win. Yeah, it's being a nice guy and being a killer on the court when it comes winning time. You're not mutually exclusive. So from the get-go, when we came here. Or when he came here, rather, I think one of the things he was most excited about was he saw the potential in the team, and he knew we were trying to win. And he's done a lot of winning. I think about this oftentimes. I wonder how many days Mike has spent atop the Western Conference in his career, right? It's probably been quite a number. You know, Utah for a long time. Memphis, I'm sure, was up there when he was there. And that's not a coincidence. You know, this guy has a huge quotient, a huge winning quotient. You know?
Speaking of being atop the Western Conference, 30 wins at the halfway point of the season. Is 60 wins something you guys are maybe targeting as a goal for this team? Or
We're targeting as many wins as we can put in the bank right now. So. Oh.
McDaniels kind of seemed to be getting his head back in the game, so to speak. What's your view on that process?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jaden was feeling 100% tonight. He was, you know, locked in defensively like he always was, battling. You know, made a huge corner three. That's good. You know, he didn't. He's been playing at a high level offensively tonight. You know, I thought he kind of just waited patiently, you know, for his opportunities. You know, it was a game where we decided we were going to go heavy pick and roll, whether it be Ant in the middle of the floor or Mike on the side of the floor. And for those guys, you know, not in that action, they just got to wait. You know, wait for the ball to come to them. And, you know, Ant found him in a great pass in the right corner. So, yeah, it takes a lot of, you know, focus to do that. But, you know, I thought he played a really, really solid game. So, thanks.